Happy Friday, everyone. Memorial Day weekend is just around the corner, and so is summertime. I tell you what, when I was growing up in Alaska as a kid, I always looked forward to summer because you had the endless days. I mean, literally at midnight, you're still out playing football or throwing a baseball around. You enjoyed the nice summer breezes, and what I really enjoyed the most was the teeming wildlife. I mean, every animal was on the move during the summertime. So it was really a wonderful time when I was a kid. Okay, now that I live down here in the South, it's not a wonderful time. I hate summertime. And I guarantee if you talk to old cattle dog over here, he hates it too. So do all the other dogs that live down here in the South, and probably even the ones that live up in the North. And here's why. Dogs weren't built for summertime. They weren't. Nature says, you can't escape old man winter. No matter what you do, no matter how hard you try, if you're a wild animal, old man winter will find you. However, in the summertime, you can go up to a higher altitude. You can burrow into the ground. You can wade into a nice cool creek, and you can crawl under some shade. Either way, you'll get it done. You'll be able to escape some of the misery of the summertime heat. But you can't escape old man winter. So therefore, Mother Nature prepared our animals to deal with old man winter. She made them heat conservation animals. Their bodies are designed to hold in heat, not release heat. Hence why I never worry about dogs during the month of December, January, and February. I just don't. Never worried about my sled dogs laying up on top of their doghouse at 40 below zero. Never worried about them. But I would worry about dogs during the months of July, August, and September. Stretching even out into October if you're down here in the South. Those are dangerous, dangerous months for our dogs. They just don't have the ability to release heat the way that we can. Again, we sweat, we're very efficient at it. I don't think I sweat like I used to. I'm just not efficient at heat. I was born in the wild, born up in Alaska. I'm just not. So all that being said, I am probably, because I am more susceptible to heat than maybe some other people are, definitely more than my wife, who I call a temperature diva. But that being said, maybe I'm just more conscious about how it affects dogs because it really just affects me. So guys, if you're one of these people who the heat doesn't affect you, you love summertime, you live for summertime. A few bad things about summertime with your dog. One, they can incur heat exhaustion and heat stroke just like that. Just like that. Your internal temperature is about 98.6, 98.7, give or take a little bit. Theirs is 101.5 to 103. Okay, that's a fever for us, not a fever for them. Come on over here, cow dog. Right here, buddy. Good man. Just try and keep him close by here to me. So that being said, they overheat much easier. And their system is not like ours, not like the pores on our skin. They usually will distribute heat and try to off-gas heat through their mouths, through their paws, behind their ears. They're just not good at it. And just recently, I got a really sad message from one of our clients, real capable dog owner. His families are really capable dog owners. But sometimes before the real heat of summer sets in, we forget about it. We're in spring mode, springtime mode. And long story short, this is over in Texas. His brother took his mother's dog, which was a Rhodesian Ridgeback, for a very long run and bicycle ride. The mother, I guess, was riding on a bicycle, and the dog was attached to the bicycle. And while my client's brother was running, 8 miles into it, the dog collapsed. And the temperature was 96 degrees. So again, maybe you're used to it, maybe because you live in the South, you love the warm weather. But this dog collapsed and died before they could get it to a veterinarian. You got to just watch out, guys. You got to be really careful for heat. So here's a couple of symptoms for you to keep in mind. Number one, if you're out during the summertime with your dog or when the temperature is just warmer, a lot warmer, watch out for excessive panting. Now they're going to pant a little bit, for sure. They're definitely going to pant. But watch out for excessive panting. Know your dog. Really panting hard. If your dog doesn't normally drool, watch for drool. Keep an eye on it. Thick, mucus drool. If you see that, huge red flag. Excessive panting, huge red flag. Also, check your dog to see if it's become dehydrated. Easy way to do that is just feel their nose. It should normally be really cool, well, moist. If it's hot, if it's dry, red flag again. Another red flag. Also check their gums. Stop, pull it up. It should be a nice pink color. It should not be a bright red. It should not be like a deep gray. And it should not be bluish in color. Another red flag. And then lack of urine. Now, Captain's a male dog, so he wants to pee on everything. I get that. And he will run out, even on a winter day, after about 5 miles. But when he runs out in a mile, something's wrong. Something's wrong. Or if I'm taking him out to go potty and he doesn't urinate, something's wrong. Another red flag. Watch out for this stuff, guys. I tell you what, when I had my vet hospital, way too many dogs came in that we were just not able to save. So if you see these things occurring in your dog, number one, a couple of things. Immediately try to get the dog to a cool area. Try to get the dog indoors to a cool area, not a cold area. Don't go rushing your dog into a freezer or something, into a cool area. Put a fan on it. Get some cool air running over your dog. Also, make sure that you wet your dog down with cool water. Lukewarm to cool, not cold. I know that may sound strange, but if you shock your dog with cold water while it's possibly suffering from a heat exhaustion or a heat stroke, you can kill it right then and there. So cool to the touch to lukewarm water. Put this underneath the dog's paws. Put it behind your dog's ears. Put it in the groin areas, underneath the armpits, in the groin, in the abdomen area. Apply cool water to those areas. Check your dog's nose again. When it starts to become cool and moist, that means his temperature is coming down. Any sort of fever is now starting to come down. At that point, that's when you allow your dog to drink. Don't allow your dog to have something to drink if you're treating it for what you believe is possible heat exhaustion until those temperatures come down. Signs that you may see later if the dog survives that event would be diarrhea, a little listlessness, lethargicness, maybe acting like they're dizzy. Again, as soon as you treat the dog on the spot, get your dog to a veterinarian as quickly as you possibly can to make sure that they check them out all the way and make sure the dog is fully recovered and will not have permanent lasting damage from this encounter. So a couple things you do just to prevent the whole thing altogether. Number one, during the summertime, I don't go out during the heat of the day. I just don't. But if you do, don't take your dog with you. If you're going to go for a walk with your dog, pick those cooler times of the day. And there's days coming up, guys, in which the coolest time of the day is going to be 98 degrees. Don't take your dog out then. Don't. Just go out and go potty, bring it back inside the house. It'll be fine. There's other ways to exercise your dog that you can do. You can take your dog to an indoor gymnasium. You can take your dog to a daycare facility. Just don't risk it. I don't care if they're a short-haired dog, long-haired dog, doesn't matter. Try to have all your activities be centered around the coolest part of the day. And then speaking of activities, keep it low. If you're a runner, you've been running with your dog in the wintertime, chill out here a little bit. Don't take your dog for such a long run, maybe more frequent runs. So if you're used to doing 5 miles with your dog, go for a mile. Then a little bit later in the day, go for a mile and a half. And that's really about it. They're not training for a marathon. Again, dogs typically only learn what they need to learn to survive, and they only do what they need to do to survive. So same thing goes for you. Also, make sure you have plenty of water. It's only common sense. When you're going to hydrate, make sure your dog hydrates as well. Bring water with you always. This isn't about you. It's about your dog. Always bring water. Make sure that you take frequent breaks. Again, it's not about you. It's about your dog. If you want it to be about you, leave your dog at home. But if you bring your dog with you, it's about the dog, who again cannot off-gas heat like you can. It cannot distribute it the way that you can. I was built to survive old man winter, not grouchy old man summer and deadly summer. And then lastly, feel your dog. This probably would have been prevented with the Rhodesian Ridgeback had someone been actually holding the leash. People ask me all the time, hey Bryan, how do I know if I've run too far with my dog. Well, if it's a dog of any decent athletic ability, when it outruns you. I mean, when you start to outrun it, meaning, because a lot of times the dog's out front, it wants to go out front and it wants to run. It can run much, has much more capable ability to run than you do. But when you start to outrun the dog and the dog's way back here, well, that'd be definitely one of the first signs I'd look for. They didn't realize that. The dog was hooked to a contraption that hooks to the bottom of the seat of a bicycle, and they're just out enjoying their day, and the dog's having to jog. And when that happens, you don't feel the dog falling back behind you. You don't feel the labored strides that the animal starts to give when it's becoming overheated, too stressed. You don't feel it. Your hands are on the handlebar. Your hands are not on the dog. So again, I love urban mushing. I love riding bicycles with my dogs attached to the bicycles. I never do it during the summertime. Never. It's way too dangerous. So I advise you walk with your dog on a leash, and even if your dog is completely trained off leash, I cannot tell you enough. If they're with you, it's about them, not about you. Frequent breaks, not so far, coolest time of the day. Cut down on the distance. It's not about endurance. Just go short distance, and it's about giving plenty of water. Guys, if you do this, you're going to be fine. You're going to make it to the summer. And of course, I probably don't need to tell you, but I will anyway. Those of you with dogs that have recessed faces, pugs, Boston Terriers, Lhasa Apsos, and it goes on and on, they're even more susceptible to the heat. They cannot pant enough. They cannot breathe enough to get that heat out of their bodies. So be safe. You know, think about my friend. He's torn up. His family's torn up over it. And don't dare judge him. That's a mistake that anyone can make and probably will make many more times before this is all over. Be careful, guys. It's Memorial Day weekend. Summer's here. Maybe your friend, it is not your dog's friend by any means. Be careful out there. Found this beneficial, of course, share it with someone else who may be living in a hot climate. Save it for yourself. Park it right here in the back.